I still remember the exact moment my world cracked apart. It happened on a bright Tuesday afternoon, the kind of day when sunlight poured through the windows and made everything seem safe. I was standing in my kitchen, folding freshly washed towels and thinking about what to cook for dinner when my phone rang. It was my husband, Nolan. He sounded rushed. He said he was heading into an important meeting and might not be available for the rest of the afternoon. It was a normal conversation, one of thousands we'd had during our 12 years of marriage. Before I could finish saying goodbye, the line seemed to go silent. Or at least, that's what he thought. He forgot to hang up. And what I heard next changed everything. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and the power of second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Lifeline Central. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories to people around the world. At first, I wasn't paying much attention. I assumed the call had glitched. I was about to disconnect when I heard laughter. A woman's laughter. Not just any woman. My best friend, Marissa. For nearly 15 years, Marissa had been part of my life. She had stood beside me at my wedding. She had held my hand when my mother passed away. She had attended every birthday party, every family barbecue, every important moment. And there she was. Laughing. The sound was so familiar that I immediately froze. Then I heard Nolan laugh too. The kind of laugh he reserved for people he felt completely comfortable around. A strange knot formed in my stomach. I stayed silent. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me already knew. Maybe my heart sensed the truth before my mind could accept it. The conversation continued in fragments. I couldn't hear every word clearly, but I heard enough. Enough to understand that something was terribly wrong. Enough to realize that the trust one had built my entire life upon was crumbling beneath me. I hung up before I heard more. My hands were shaking. The towels slipped from my arms and scattered across the floor. I remember staring at them for several seconds, unable to move. The sunlight that had seemed warm moments earlier suddenly felt cold. The kitchen felt unfamiliar. My own home felt unfamiliar. For the next several hours, I convinced myself I was overreacting. There had to be an explanation. There always was. Marissa and Nolan had known each other for years. Maybe they were planning a surprise. Maybe they were discussing something private. Maybe my imagination was running wild. But deep down, another voice whispered a painful truth. Healthy friendships don't hide. Healthy marriages don't create suspicion. Healthy relationships don't make your stomach drop when you hear two people laughing together. That evening, Nolan came home carrying flowers. Something he hadn't done in months. The gesture should have made me smile. Instead, it terrified me. Because suddenly every small detail seemed suspicious. Every compliment felt rehearsed. Every smile felt forced. Every act of kindness felt like compensation for something I couldn't yet prove. Over the following weeks, I started noticing things I had ignored before. Late-night text messages. Unexpected business trips. Last-minute schedule changes. Marissa becoming strangely unavailable whenever I suggested meeting for coffee. The pieces began fitting together. And the picture they created broke my heart. One rainy evening, I sat alone in my car outside a small restaurant downtown. I wasn't there by accident. I had followed a feeling. The kind of feeling women often dismiss because they're afraid of what they might find. I watched through the window. And there they were. Nolan. Marissa. Sitting together. Smiling. Leaning toward each other. Looking happier than either of them had looked around me in months. I didn't storm inside. I didn't create a scene. I simply sat there. Watching. As the rain slid down my windshield. as tears slid down my cheeks. As 12 years of marriage and 15 years of friendship dissolved into a reality I never wanted to face. The betrayal wasn't just romantic. It was personal. These were the two people I trusted most in the world. And together they had built a secret while smiling in my face. For weeks afterward, I barely functioned. I went through the motions of life. Work. Laundry. Groceries. Family gatherings. But inside, I felt empty. The hardest part wasn't losing them. It was losing the version of myself who believed she knew her life. Everything I thought was true suddenly felt uncertain. Who was I without this marriage? Who was I without this friendship? Who was I after betrayal? One morning, months later, I found myself sitting on a park bench watching children play. The sky was clear. The trees swayed gently in the breeze. And for the first time in a long while, I noticed something important. Life was continuing. The world hadn't stopped. Birds still sang. The sun still rose. People still laughed. Maybe my story wasn't ending. Maybe it was changing. That realization became the first step toward healing. I started therapy. I joined a local volunteer organization. I began spending time with people who genuinely valued honesty and kindness. Little by little, I rebuilt myself. Not the old version. A stronger version. A wiser version. A version that understood her worth wasn't determined by someone else's choices. Months turned into a year. Then another. The pain didn't disappear overnight. Heartbreak never does. But it transformed. What once felt like a wound slowly became a scar. A reminder of what I survived. One Saturday morning, while helping organize a charity event, I met a man named Everett. There was nothing dramatic about our first meeting. No movie-style music. No instant fireworks. Just genuine kindness. He listened when people spoke. He treated everyone with respect. He showed up when he promised he would. And after everything I had been through, those qualities felt extraordinary. Our friendship developed slowly. Carefully. Patiently. For the first time in years, I felt safe. Not because life was perfect. But because honesty existed. Trust existed. Consistency existed. The things I once took for granted became the things I valued most. Years later, I would look back on that forgotten phone call differently. At first, I saw it as the worst moment of my life. But eventually I recognized it as something else. A painful gift. Because the truth, however devastating, freed me from a lie. And freedom allowed me to build something real. Today, when I think about Nolan and Marissa, I don't feel anger. I don't feel revenge. I don't even feel sadness. I feel gratitude for the lessons they unintentionally taught me. They taught me that betrayal reveals character. They taught me that healing reveals strength. And they taught me that sometimes the ending we fear most becomes the beginning we need. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like the video, leave a comment, share it with someone who may be struggling through betrayal, and subscribe to Lifeline Central for more emotional stories of hope and resilience. Special request, comment below with the words, "I choose healing," if you believe that your past does not define your future. As the sun set beyond the horizon that evening, I sat on my porch beside Everett, watching the sky glow orange and gold. The air felt warm. The future felt open. And for the first time in many years, my heart felt light. The husband who forgot to hang up and the friend who laughed behind my back thought they had shattered my life forever. Instead, they unknowingly led me toward a stronger version of myself. And sometimes, the most beautiful chapters begin right after the pages we never wanted to turn. The end.